Yo guys, what's good? Welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm gonna be making a drill beat using my new loop kit, Drilling's loop kit, will be on my BeatStars page on the link in the description below. I'm using samples like that to make a crazy drill beat. Let's get into it. So this is a loop that I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna give you a quick preview of the loop and then I'm gonna get into the drums. So for the drums, we're going to start off with a counter snare to get our bounce in order, to get the sort of vibe of the beat. This will be like sort of a bass layer to the bounce of the beat. So this is the counter snare pattern that I've come up with, that I'm using as sort of a bass layer counter snare. This will sort of be in the background. You'll hear it and it'll give the bounce of the beat. Next I'm going to move on to sort of a harsher counter snare. It will kind of be like a top layer on top of this counter snare. We'll add a bit more bounce to it, and you'll probably hear it a bit more in the final mix. But they will be less full, it won't be as full in the beat. So this is the second counter snare pattern I've come up with that adds sort of more of a bounce to the beat, gives it a bit more of a vibey, bouncier type to it. thing we're gonna add is our main snare. Now this is usually gonna be like, it's gonna be a hard hitting sort of harsh snare. It's gonna be prominent in the mix. You're gonna hear it. It's gonna like hit hard. With snares and drill beats, you always want to put it on the 3 and the 8, whereas normal trap patterns you would put it on the 3 and the 7. So I'm not really vibing this, I'm not really feeling this snare, so I'm going to switch it up and maybe change it for a snare that feels a bit more hard hitting. I like this one. So now I'm just going to add a bit more of a bounce to our snare pattern, adding in some lower velocity snares, some sort of quieter snares. Now we'll kind of add like the our counter snare do, just giving it a bit more bounce. So the next thing we're going to do in this beat is we're going to add the 808 in, which is probably the biggest part of a drill beat. It's like the most prominent thing. You always say crazy 808s on some mad drill beats. Yeah, I like this one still. Actually, reminds me to check what key we're in. So we're in D minor. Oh, piano roll. Bring that over. So in FL Studio, you can go to this little arrow tool here, go to view, go to scale highlighting, and then pick which key you want to work in. And that way, if you're working in FL Studio, it's a lot easier. It's a lot less music theory to learn when you're working like this. It just makes it easier for you to visualize what key you're in, placing melodies. Also, with 808s, which I just forgot, to get the 808 to sound good and how you want it, you want to bring the attack down and turn hold up. Bring the sustain down, bring release down, bring everything down but the hold, and put the hold all the way up. And what this will basically do is when you hold a note, so I'm going to play like a C, I can hold that for amount of time, I can press it and it will just play for a little bit of time. It just basically allows you to control how much time you want the 808 to play its sound without when you want it to cut off. So if I put it for a beat, the 808 will play for a beat. I put it for 2 beats, play for 2 beats, and so on. It just you don't have the drag of the 808 after this. There will be no release on the 808. Oh, that's a bit high velocity. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically trying to match the notes of the 808 to the notes that the vocals playing in, so I can hear the vocals, and I'm trying to sort of match the 808s up to that. And normally you can usually do it by ear, but if not, I'm going to show you another way. You can go into this vocal. Let me save this vocal as its own sample, make unique as a sample. Now if I go into this vocal, I can open this in Edison audio editor, right click on the sample, go to regions, detect pitch regions, and it will show us what pitches the sample is playing in. So as we can see, it goes from D, D, up to D sharp, then to F, then back down to D, D, D sharp, F. So we can see what notes this sample is playing, and we can base our notes off of that. So as we saw, the note was playing in D, then F. The D sharp don't really matter because that's as the vocals transition up, so it's probably only registered that at D sharp. Now, when we're creating our first 808 melody, we're going to start off slow, we're going to keep it simple, and this is going to lead into a more complicated 808 melody, a more crazier one. I'm going to just start off with keeping the slide note simple. So we'll turn on these slide notes here. Turn our melody down a bit in the mixer here. I'm actually going to check the key of this 808, make sure that it's in key, and as you can see, it's in C. That means that we're playing our melody in key at the moment. Playing our 808 in key, sorry. As you can see here, we're kind of keeping it simple. We're not adding too many slides, we're not going crazy. But even here with my first one, which I think I'm actually going to do, I'm not going to add any slides on this second bar and just keep it like this. And maybe move what we did from the second bar over to the sixth bar here. Bring this down. I feel like this F here sounds right like So now I'm going to add my kick, and my kick is basically just going to follow a very similar pattern to the 808. Put that to a mixer. Now with the kick. See that you want a hard hitting kick with these drill type beats, because when it slaps harder, the melody sounds a lot better. I'm just going to pull it down there. I'm going to move these kicks. And you don't want to overcomplicate the kicks. You don't want to add too much kicks into this, otherwise it's going to crowd the space and you're not going to have any room for any other perks or stuff when you move on to that. So you want to keep the kick symbol hitting hard like this. I'm going to preview this. Those kicks hit hard. So yeah, as you can see, above 0 decibels. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a soft clipper to it, which will clip the sound, bring the levels back down in the waveform, and it bring it down to 0 decibels here. It also gives it sort of a harder kicking sound when we add it. So if I look, you'll see what I mean when I over dramatize it. I'm going to bring the velocity up loads. See that? It kicks a lot harder. I'm just going to keep it like this kick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our second 808 melody. We're going to use the same 808, same kick. So let's make sure that I get all this right. Bring all this down. We're going to put this to the same channel because they're the same 808. We want them to be mixed the same. So if we put them to the same channel, they'll be mixed the exact same. I'm going to click on one of these 808s so we can get the exact velocity of the other ones as well. And look, now it's the same velocity. They're basically the same 808 pattern. We've just split it into 2 channels. And with this 808, we can start to go a bit crazier now. We can start to add in more slides, give it more of a bounce, because this will probably be in the main hook of the song, so we can make it a bit more crazy. We want to go crazy here. It wants to go hard. With the 808 melody here, as you can see here, I've moved the slide note right to the end of this 808, because then what it does when I show you, it will kind of zip up to the next 808, and it will sound a bit different, but it will sound cool. You'll see what I mean in a minute. It's delayed a bit, and it adds a cool effect. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to shorten these 808s a bit, so it adds a bit of a gap between them. I feel like it creates a bit more bounce. Bring back down to earth. And I'm actually gonna, on the end of this 808, I'm gonna have a slide note that goes down an octave from this F here. So it's gonna be on F4, which is here. So it slides down a whole octave, and I have like a sort of spin down. This goes back down to D. Actually, I'm going to bring these back in here. I'm gonna grab these ones again. Put these up there. Here. We're going to create 6 slides here across 3 beats. They're going to be pretty high pitched, actually. For this one, I'm going to have no slides for these ones, so I'm going to bring these up. It's just going to be the notes playing, and then we'll press slides. Shorten these, I'm going to make these a half step, see how that sounds. I'm gonna, these 4 high pitched notes here, I'm gonna change the velocities and make the velocities decrease, so it kind of sort of, it's like a sort of delay on the 808. I'm gonna turn that into a slide note and add a note. See what I did there? I'm going to bring the velocity of this note up so it will hit. And add like a delay effect on it without having to automate its own delay effect. Next, we're going to move on to the kick. We're going to use the exact same kick as last time, and again put it to the same mixer channel. So now our kick will already be soft clipped for us. Oh, bring it back here. Now we can add in a few more kicks, but not too many. Now we're going to move on to our third and final 808 melody, and this is going to be like the one with the most 808s, the one with the most slides. It's going to be the craziest one. I'll make sure it's to the same mixer channel. Number 5, here it is. Oh, forgot to mute these. Don't want them overlapping. actually gonna swap these around. Let's swap them vertically so the slide is in the bottom and the bass overlay is on top. So this will now slide down from E6 here, or a whole octave down to E5. Bring these up an octave. Those aren't slides. I'll move these both up. I think we should move them back down. I'm gonna add sort of a spin down here, make a note down an octave. That's more of a calm. Bring these up an octave. Slide there. I didn't mean to add a slide there. Actually, no, yeah, we're gonna add one So that would be our sort of our most complicated 808 pattern, the craziest one. but we still don't wanna like add just bare slides and overcomplicate it too much, because then if you want a rapper to rap on this, it's gonna be too mad. You're gonna have no space for vocals at all. Even this is more of a stylized beat for producers. So that was going to be our final 808 melody. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a few perks. We're going to add too many because it will fill up the beat too much and it will sound a bit messy. We're going to just add a few, add a little bounce to it. Can actually check the pitch of this. We can fit it to our pitch or make it sound a lot better. Bring that up to D, so it's because it's already in C. I love this rim shot. This is probably one of my favourite rim shots you can get. It can just add a lot of bounce. It's kind of like a counter snare, but you know, I'm going to add too many otherwise it will fill up too much space. Maybe we'll just keep it like that, so we'll play like that. I also want to add, I think I have one somewhere, a sort of if I can find it, you know what I mean. I feel like I had it somewhere. This. It's gone out of my mind what it's called, but you hear this a lot, so I want to kind of add it in. Oh, loop points off. That is a good point. If you ever have a sound and it just randomly goes off in its own and you can't figure out why, it is probably because you've got loop points turned on and it will just keep looping itself once it's done. It's really annoying. And that's the last perk I wanted to add, so we are actually done with the drums and I'll be back when I've arranged the beat. So I'm done and I've arranged the final beat and this is what it sounds like.
CS on it.
So that has been it, guys. I thank you, man, for watching. I hope that has helped you progressing, making drill beats, and helping you with making drums, especially. And check out my new loop kit. It's in the description in the bottom. It's only $10, and trust me, it will take your melodies up a next level.